Inner conversation is an opportunity, a door, sometimes the hell itself, and the gates out of it, the gates to paradise. Everything is in us. All the beauty and the ugly is inside of us, and you are the one that is creating. You are the narrator. Welcome guys for more episodes of Soul Connection. We are here at Atma Aayur, this amazing community in Brazil where we are co-creating the new earth through mastery of the soul. And we are here today to talk about our inner dialogue, our inner conversations. It's here Sananda and Vinny.
Yay!
Yoo-hoo! And today what we can talk about inner conversations, Vinny? What is your perception? What is inner conversations for you?
I'm just kidding. That would be an inner conversation. You guys can't hear. For me, it's these voices within that connect, that interact with each other and with myself, that would be the one listening to it or seeing it. So the viewer, right? And the inner narrative, the inner conversation, the inner narrative, better saying, would be like what aspects or what's the most intense aspect of it that translate the whole thing. Like, for example, during my day, I have had many talks, many thoughts, many things in my mind, and my inner narrative would be the translation of that all. What's the frequency of that? And thinking of that creates my reality, that creates my view on the world, and how I will be, how I will act, how I will do things, and which how do you say
feel?
Sensations.
Your sensations.
Sensations will be created in my body, and how will I react to that too? So that would be the translation of it all, of this knowledge of this.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for me it's a bit hard to explain, but easier every day to live.
To experiment. It's something that you're developing, right?
Exactly.
The perception of it. Yeah.
I'm the student, let's say.
Yeah, the student. Yeah. I have been refining this understanding for many years, right? So for me, it's probably easier to translate. Yeah. For me, this inner conversation, it's a layer of interpretation. So something happened, and there is a voice that rises up and gives meaning to it. From a Zen perspective, this meaning that is being given to it is something that I should ignore. So the mindlessness, to be out of mind, is to have no labels over reality. So life is pure, and it's an amazing, beautiful state. I love Zen. I have been a Zen for many years and a teacher of Zen, but I also could perceive that the beautiful symbol of Zen, that is the empty circle, explains all, right? It is the feminine. The empty circle, it's telling about the feminine, the emptiness, right? And the feminine is a passive state of deep, profound connection to the present moment. And in the present moment, there is no problem. The problems arise out of mind interpreting things, right? And I love Zen because it gives me the power of being at peace with everything that happens. But it's a non-creative state. Because if the mind is put outside of the equation, the masculine is not included. Makes sense?
Yes.
So it's a very amazing, powerful school for us to go back to the feminine and honor the feminine. It was my door to go back to the feminine. It was my redemption, my freeing, my liberation, right? But then inner conversation is a process that is happening and I have to ignore, right? But that doesn't mean that every Zen master is a mindless idiot. They can be, even on purpose. It's part of the Zen tradition, the crazy monk, right? Unpredictable, right? Because he's mindless. He's not following a preconceived notion, right? History. He's not trying to be congruent with a narrative. So a lot of power and joy comes out of it. But it's not a school of refining the creator inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So a Zen master is part of the reality, never being truly part of it. I am on the sides. I'm sitting on the shore. Okay? And although it is a beautiful and very needed state, and I honor all the masters of Zen deeply, I understand that the Zen is a powerful school, but it's not the end goal for me. It's a very personal thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell this has to do with inner conversation,
Uh-huh.
right? Inner talk, is that the refinement of this conversation, it's very important. So it's not about ignoring, but it's about guiding and creating. So the first thing I understand coming from the Zen is that those thoughts that arises is the source of my misery, but it's also many times the source of a deeper joy and appreciation. Appreciation can be out of emptiness. I can profoundly see beauty in a flower out of a Zen state that I maybe can never experiment just by narrative, by being too much in my mind. So the true beauty of life needs this profound connection. That in our creed, right, in our belief system here, in Atma Aayur, love is a state, is a frequency. And this comes from a channeling, very powerful channeling from a master, a spiritual master, that teaches a lot about love and how to actually be in love, right? And to be in love is not something that happens to you, something that you create from being that specific space inside of you.
Actively,
yes. Uh-huh. And part of this is to be completely connected to the present moment, be completely connected to your body, right? So the Zen is included in love, right? So inner conversation, it's this voice inside of my head that is adding something to everything that's happening inside of me and is trying to give sense. I think that the normal state of a human being is to be mindless most of the time. Okay? The mind comes to give sense when there is the need of sense to create some kind of healing. Okay, so if I'm afraid, the mind will try to narrate reality to subside the fear. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If I feel lack, the mind will come to try and give me ways to fulfill that lack. So if I need value, I need to feel that I am worth it, right? That I have value. Probably my narrative will start diminishing other people in order for me to feel that I have some value. Mm-hmm. Or I will compare myself with them and see where I am better than them.
Mm-hmm.
But it can go backfire terribly when we compare to people and see that the other things, right?
Yeah.
So the mind, the ego, is trying to heal a wound, okay, and try to fill up some void, right? The Sufi masters would call these empty spaces in our energetic field. They will call this the sap of life, okay?
Uh-huh.
Sap of life that we have, okay, our essential self, stop flowing. So the ego come to try to put a band-aid, a cosmic band-aid, to fill up that void with inner conversation.
Yeah.
And then we develop a personality. We develop a sense of self that's trying to be like a wall to protect us from the emptiness. So when we connect to the spiritual intelligence of Zen and all of those schools with inner conversation, something starts to arise that you understand that all of this noise inside happens particularly when we have a wound. So when we start to heal ourselves, the inner conversation starts to go away. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So every time when I go and meditate in the morning, I do a 2-staged meditation. And the first stage is about to see what is arising and to try and connect to it, to guide it, to understand it. And usually what comes again and again is the wound. Right? And when I connect to the wound and give it my love, the silence comes. If I have more than one wound active, when I subside the more active wound, something smaller will come. Okay? So people with a lot of wounds, so hurted by themselves in life, and they're constantly reaffirming the wound by the way they interpret reality. I'm comparing. So I now feel even less value. Oh my God. Now do something else, or even more comparisons. So it keeps creating new wounds, deepening the wounds, right? It will be very hard to meditate for these people, right? And it will be very hard for me to meditate when my wounds are very much screaming alive and I'm not paying attention. Make sense?
It does.
So the inner narrative, the self-talk, has a lot to do with wounds. So in this sense, the Zen is a school of healing. If I learn to deal with those wounds, because when I connect to what is alive inside of me directly, bypassing the inner conversation, when I go to the void, to the empty space, when I truly connect, that is part of the love state that we have here, the energy of life starts to flow again in that space. So the sap of life, the essential self, starts to become healed. Make sense?
It does. It really does. And if you would connect it to our everyday life, what would you say, like if a new person is here, right? I mean, this new person is learning about inner narrative and about love, how we see it, and about connecting and accepting him or herself. Having a new narrative, what would be the first things that would come up? The good and the easy and the not so easy. Let's put it like that. The easy and the not so easy in the everyday life, in the daily life.
If a person go and do Vipassana or Zazen or go deep into silence, a healing will happen. Okay? But this healing can be very much expressed faster, let's say. Accelerated, if there is a healing narrative. Right? So the absence of narrative will cancel the narrative that is related to the wound and create space for a deeper, real connection. So what I would say that someone is arriving here, first they have to understand that they have to connect to the wound. And connect to the wound is discomfortable. There's a lot of pain around it. Things go worse before they go better because we are reintegrating a part of us that is repressed behind the wall.
Yes.
Right? So I will not feel better. Like, I use my medication, now I feel better. No, I take my medication and I'm feeling worse. What is going on, Sananda, right? Yes, you are feeling worse. Yee! That is the thing. But then feeling worse, connected, without resistance, without judging, this is bad, this is uncomfortable, I don't want this. You're accepting all of that discomfort. I have the opportunity to say beautiful things, to overlap all the negative narrative that I've received. And I'm talking about, when I was talking about Zen, I talk about, it's not teaching us how to be creators, Zen, right?
Yes.
It's teaching us how to heal in a way. We're talking about one that is integrating another and Zen, but there is a stage of being a God creator, and this requires a narrative. This requires to be active. Right? So it's not a passive healing, it's an active healing.
Yes.
So first thing I would say to someone that arrives here, I would say, calm yourself down. Now you need to dedicate a big chunk of your time here to grow past your wounds, to learn how to deal with your wounds and to with your negative emotions. They're accumulated, and really connect to it. After that, you will learn how to be a creator. So first is a healing narrative, and then is a creator narrative. You see? The creator narrative is what is completely outside of Zen scope.
Yeah, because let's say that Zen cancels the narrative.
Completely.
And by canceling the narrative, you don't have the negative one that then it allows you to heal your wound, but it always cancel your power to create in the world, like partially.
Yeah, it doesn't cancel it. You keep creating by default. In a sense, you become a non-state. You become a non-creator, a non-interferer. You are out of karma. But you're not particularly on dharma either. Okay? Dharma comes out of action. So you're interfering. Okay, you're out of karma. Some people may call this dharma, but not from the understanding that I have from my deep, profound journey, right? So, as the guide confirmed, right? In a sense, what I'm trying to say is something like this. The healing that we do, Zen can also do, and many other schools can do. Okay, but the way of Zen is to completely silence yourself and deeply feel. And from this deep feeling without resistance, because the Zen has this idea of embracing everything. You know, non-reactivity. The Zazen is literally means the knee-breaking practice, right? That you're gonna sit on your knee all day and embrace the pain on your knee. So you will break your knee. A knee represents symbolically, like in Vedic medicine, it represents your limits. So Zen is completely breaking your limits, right? What you feel is your limit. What it's trying to create is that state that you are embracing everything in a non-reactive way.
Yeah.
That's why you only become a monk as a Zen when you go to the you know, like the market, the street market.
Yeah.
Everybody from the village go there and swear and say ugly things to you and humiliate you. And another monk is by your side, observing very attentively to you if there's anything moving. If you are completely out of reactivity, then you can become a monk. Wow. This is the traditional way. Today I don't know how it is, okay?
Yeah.
But it's traditional way. So what I'm trying to tell you, there is an understanding here that Zazen, the Zen monk, is free of reactivity. Right? So inner conversation, most of the time, is a reaction to a wound that, unfortunately, most of the time is created by a narrative that we inherited, because that's the thing, right? That's the tricky part that is obvious, that we became wounded because we embraced wounded narratives from our parents, that embraced it from their parents and from society itself. Okay? Well, I'm trying to say that when a kid go and see a reporter talking about climate change, the world is going to end, they create a profound fear, existential fear. Their grounding chakra, the Muladhara, will be hurted and wounded. They will go outside of the pure state of trust that everything will be provided by Mother Earth. This is a profound state of trust that is inherited ours as a gift from Mother Earth. When we go outside of that state, we break this covenant with our Mother Earth, and we create a new kind of earth that is unable to fulfill us or to heal itself. Right? But by creating this wound in us, this chakra is wounded now, and now I have this existential fear that life is not safe. And I will try to compensate with a lot of inner dialogue. That simple, illness of thought creates an illness of body and energy that creates an illness in reality. One people like this, it's okay. Millions, billions of people create reality. And reality are reinforced by collective belief right? Okay, so the Zen is surfing the waves of subconscious mind of humanity, because it's not actively creating. Okay, I'm not relating to reality, I'm not reacting to reality, I'm just an observer. And now we're talking about an active creator. It's a deeper level. So inner dialogue, inner conversation, what I would say to someone that is arriving is that, hey, maybe for the first time you see how toxic you are to yourself. Hey, maybe for the first time you understand that most of the shit in your life were created by your inner conversation. Hey, maybe your masculine is very bad for you. Okay? And you are the thing that you dislike the most in life. And this part who is like this to you, imagine that is trying to protect you. Wow. You should not hate this part, fight against it, or resent it. Because this guy, ego, is trying to do his best to protect you from yourself and from your wounds. So it's not about fighting the ego that you're going to find yourself healed.
It's by embracing it. By
embracing it and understanding it and doing it better than it's doing. That's when the ego subsides.
It's like the ego will only pass you the chance to guide yourself freely if you show in every aspect of your life that you can do it better.
Yes, exactly. So the ego, we go silencing it by layers. When he sees it that we do a better job than him, he just subsides. It's in the nature of the ego. If I'm not required, I will subside. He's just a machine. He's an autopilot program to protect us from ourselves. If we show the ego that we can love us as we are, he will not put us in this blind state where we don't see our shadow. The shadow are there because we cannot love ourselves. And to cover our shadow, then inner conversation again. If I'm doing something that is not good, right, I will try to pass blame to other people with my narrative. And I will do this completely unconsciously, right?
And there's no guilt. There's no guilt.
There is a deep, profound guilt. A deep, profound guilt that will create shitty situations in our life, but is a very profound, deeply covered by the ego. Okay, because first he's trying to make us like operational. Stay alive. That's his purpose. Stay alive.
Get up, walk, eat.
And to stay alive, the energy that you're creating needs to move, otherwise you die. Life is energy moving. Tantra taught me that. I was a tantric teacher too. So Tantra teaches energy moving equal pleasure equal life. Energy not moving equal pain, equal sickness, equal death. Okay? So cancer is not flowing enough energy in an organ in our body because we are not at peace with that aspect of ourselves. You know that personally because you had this, right? And that creates wounds, and you know because you are overgrowing your wounds, that cancer, everything is being transformed because now you're moving energy. You don't need that anymore, right? So all of this is interconnected, man. All of this is interconnected. So if you're having a problem of narrative, if you're having a problem in your body, the ego is trying to make you exist, but sometimes creating a cancer, because he's not actually healing anything. The ego is not a healer. It's just an autopilot to keep yourself moving. Okay, makes sense?
It does. It does.
Who is the healer? The observer. Okay, the true self. Why is like this? I would say that the creative mind of everything that is very bright and amazing. And he is creating awareness. He's created AIs, let's say, right? We like our reality mirrors the reality of the divine. We are trying to create AIs. The divine is trying to create himself. Okay, so he's trying to create his sons and daughters. Okay, and he's doing that by putting us here, putting a perfect autopilot and say, let's see if that sprout of me inside of them, that spark of life in their heart, will come into recognition, in alignment, in awareness. Okay, let's see how many eggs will sprout, how many millennia, how many thousands of lives would require to that thing to sprout as a God creator. The Zen is very good in this process, but doesn't create a God creator. Okay, it's like it teaches how to fix misalignment, and it's a very important step, right? So inner conversation, inner dialogue, it's a very important process of understanding this. All your inner dialogue until today, until you give your first step of change, is the subconscious mind of the collective, of your parents, of your past lives being reflected in the parents and society that you were born. Right? Is the closest match for the luggage that you carry in your soul level. And then you sprout in this earth, and then you have to deal with all of those contaminations and say, oh, poor me. No.
Yeah.
This is you being mirrored back to you. If you are on earth, and that's the thing that you're receiving, embrace it. Earth is in an amazing moment.
Yeah.
It's the moment of ascension.
At its fullest, right?
Yeah, a lot of souls decided to come to Earth, even in that shitty storm, because it knows the beautiful moment that Earth is. That maybe it may sprout all of this shit, this manure, can sprout the most beautiful flower full of nutrients, right? Yes? There's divine energy here. There's also divine guilt that we all have to overcome for choosing to be here in a state of disconnection, right? In reconnection.
Yeah.
It's all of this process is there. It's a very deep stuff, guys, I know, sorry for that. But behind inner conversation, all of this is moving. It requires many years for me to see all the layers and go removing them, go to deep state of void, and then come back to thought.
Yeah.
Go out of Zen, go back to thought, and then now as a guide, as a master of my mind, and creating. And then there is no school for that. Okay, then we have to go for the other schools that maybe have some insights to that. So we are creating the school of gods, right? The dreamers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dreamers, exactly.
Yes. And how we can create the dreaming consciously. Then we come back to what I would say to someone that arrived here. It's a complex answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all of this is you. The ego is part of you. He's trying to do his best. You need to step by step learn to be better than him in loving yourself and taking care of yourself. And that is the awareness. How awake you are, how much attention you are paying to yourself, and how much you're acting preemptively. Because the ego are reactive. The creator are active, is creative. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to create what you want to see it sprout. If you don't create, the unconscious mind will create. And the ego will be manifested constantly to try and fix it up, everything that these wounds are creating. And himself are creating by repeating the narrative that he inherited from the environment. Right? Why this ego was not prepared to come with a fixed narrative? Because then God wouldn't be creating conscious. Yes?
He would be creating a movie.
Yes,
let's say.
Exactly.
That will happen, will start and end in this way. And that's
exactly. Right? Yeah. So we are creating our own movie. So God created a movie, but a movie that's self-created. And it's self-taught. It's teaching. We are teaching ourselves through our life situations. People see karma as a punishment. It's far from the truth. Very far from the truth. It's a school, yes. And Dharma is when that school become awake. Right? So Zen, the no mind, is not in karma, not in Dharma, is in a space in between. It's a very liberative state, amazing state. So be out of mind. It's a very important step, guy. This is the step that I go back many times. You go to the center. Emptiness.
Yeah.
Okay? From there I can listen to the voice of the divine in my heart. Right? Or I'm just always full of thought. Right?
Exactly.
That's why meditation every day. That's why listening to the heart. right? How many times I ask you, hey man, put your hand in your heart, pay attention to your heart, right? And now that you're very much awake, you can see the difference when it's coming from your belly, from one of the wounds, one of the emptiness, the fear, the lack, right? What's coming to the mind, from a should be, should not be, you can go to the heart, for the center, right? Where everything is in perfect harmony.
Exactly.
Right?
And then you can choose at your best, like, and the best for you and the best for everybody around.
Yeah.
It's very important for me. That was a very important lesson because, like, I'm learning all of it. This last 4 months, it's been all about it. You know, all the situations that come up, they teach me something about how I used to react, and then I have to look at that and consider it as a part of me, to connect to it and to accept it, that it's there. What can I do now? Then that's the question, right? What can I do now? I can connect to it and wish it the best, but say that from now on I can choose what narrative I want to be in each situation of my life. And for example, like, I don't know, at work here, let's say we work 5 hours a day. When you are a volunteer or a member wannabe for 9 months, you work 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then you do very different things. And because I'm doing very different things, I can get to know myself in so many different ways. And sometimes when a new situation comes up and something from my past, like from 15, 20 years ago, come up, I look at it and it's so different than who I am now, that narrative is so different than who I am now, that I can really see that was what was creating my reality and my emptiness and my suffering. You know? For example, we're working there, building a house, right? We are building amazing houses here, and I'm digging a hole, right? And I remember about my first work when I was 17, and I used to hate it because there was this boss who used to say, "You can't do it. You're not as strong as you look. You're a big guy, but you're, just like a fat ass." No. And I would react to that with anger, and then I would do it way better than the other ones, just so I could feel that my self-worth was there. So first time I did it here, I was looking at that inner narrative, like, I'm not a fat ass, I'm not a nobody, I'm not weak. I was like, I know I'm not, why am I saying that? And I saw that the energy was flowing and that the anger could make me do that 2, 3, 4 times faster, but that at the end of the day my back would be hurting as hell. And once I saw that inner narrative, I didn't hate on it. I didn't say like, no, at first I did, but then I learned that I shouldn't, and that I should just connect with it, and I should just understand it, and that I would at the end wish it the best, and that then it would change. And when it would change, it would open this empty space that I could say anything I wanted. And what did I say? I am working well. My self-worth is within me. I love myself. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if it's the best or the worst hole in the ground, on the ground, What matters is if I'm liking what I'm doing right now. Otherwise I shouldn't do it. But because I'm here to learn, how can I have the best inner narrative to like what I'm doing now, so I can like anything that comes after. So this was really like the substance, the piece of knowledge that I took from all that I've been learning here, that is helping me in every situation of my life. And I've been trying to find it in everything in my life, and I didn't before. So that's how important it is, because then after, when I have like a discussion with somebody, I can just look at that person and see if I'm projecting somebody else in that person, and see if my inner narrative is telling beautiful things or the worst things about that person, or I'm looking at that person as the person is, and that is reality, and I'm taking reality in account, not only my past situations and my memory, you know. Like, then I can create something better, and I can create what I want. I can create a life that I want, and be the hero of my own movie, you know. Like, not only the how do you call the person that is in the background, like the Free Guy movie.
I know the NPC.
The NPC, you know, like that I can become that person. That was the best thing for me from this school. That is Atma Aayur, right? And that I'm helping to create, and that's amazing. But that's just one thing that I do, and that doesn't say anything about me. That just is an aspect of my life that tells me that I'm doing something that is good for myself. You know, because I still choose what's going to change me the most and what's going to help me the most. So that's what this community means to me now, and that's why I love being here, and I love the people here. And yes, Ananda, what would you say then? Like
well, thank you, man. I think it's amazing what you just shared, and I was receiving it out of a space of pure receptivity, and I can see how beautiful a turning point these experiences can be for us when we can see it happening. For the first time, we see it happening, and you describe it more than one moment when you saw it happening, and this is eye-opening experience. And everything changes out of that, because for the first time we see life as it is.
Yes.
And all the masks, all the lies, everything that we have been carrying falls to the ground, and a liberative power comes that I can be and do anything. And earth and life can be everything, and it becomes joy.
Yes.
It becomes a playground. Life becomes beautiful.
Yeah.
You know.
Kindergarten. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is not for all of us all the time. Even myself, there's moments where I'm out of that state, but that state, as more and more it stays with me, more amazing life become. You know, and that is the cosmic conscious that is alive. That's the mastery of the soul. That's the paradise on earth. That be in this dual realm of existence where there is the flow of space and time, when there is a moment that is followed by another moment, bringing the perfection state of a unified universe where there is no separation. Inside of separation, we are perfect. So this moment of realization carried this seed of perfection, and beauty, and life becomes a dance full of possibilities. Instead of a hostile separation, it becomes a dance, a glide, a flow of liberation, you know, and aliveness. And that's the enlightened state that I think all of us deserve. And our inner conversation, our inner dialogue holds the key to be in that state and sustain that state and create the kindergarten that we want, right? So when you share this experience of how it was for you, man, I think it's beautiful. We have a lot of schools on this planet that teach us many things, but all of them, we have to be aware and awake enough to go the extra mile, to commit, because we're not committing to anything other than ourselves.
Yeah.
To fully trust is not to trust in someone outside of us, it's to fully trust that the divine is operating in all the levels, everyone. You see, and what we're trying to bring here in Atma Aayur is the purest teaching, the purest form. It's like the elixir, the nectar, you know, that can actually work and operate for everyone, in any level, at every moment, that if you do, it will generate the result. And now it's an inner technology, right? And I know that I'm not the only person that is bringing this. I know that this is part of the earth moment. There's a lot of teachers out there doing the same, and I love them all because we're all doing the same thing together. And what I want you that are listening to this is to also be part. Maybe you yourself are a teacher of this. Maybe you were born to be a channel of this knowledge, and everything that we are saying, you say, yeah, I know. Believe, trust, and be the teacher that you can be. by being the teachings, by applying to yourself, being yourself the most radiant expression of this. And that's the calling for me, to Vinny, and all of us here in Atma Aayur. We are doing this on a daily basis, right? We are applying this, sometimes not being able to sustain the frequency, but that's the beauty, that's part of the journey. To learn how to ride the bike, we fall sometimes, it's okay. And even after years riding the bike, we may fall on extreme situations, right? And we just go up the bike, we not resent the bike, say, oh, this bike doesn't work, I hate bikes or something like this. You understand it's part of the process. I'll never again do such a extreme velocity turn on a wet day, you know, like this doesn't work. We learn out of experience. So allow yourself time and space to commit mistakes, but focus. Don't resent the bike, don't resent the life, don't resent the curve, don't resent the wetness on the road. Just accept everything and try to operate in a level of consciousness that embraces everything and learn from everything. And that's our calling. I think if I would wrap it up today, maybe we can wrap it up, this conversation, is to invite you to love life. To love yourself not as a hostile, dangerous place, but as a wonderful opportunity every day to learn to be a self-aware child of the divine that operates in all the levels in the universe. And as you become a god, as you become an awakened divine, you have the opportunity to be a shepherd, a guardian, a sustainer of life, of beauty everywhere in creation. That's my invitation.
Oh. Well, my invitation is for you to, if you have never been to a community yet, or to a place that is talking about the same things that we're talking in these podcasts, find somehow a way to be connected to it. Because sometimes when we fall from the bike, it's good to have somebody that has fallen before, telling you like, man, it's okay, like the bike will not bite you. It was not the bike, you know, it's like, just go on again, you know, and giving support. Support is very important.
Yes,
very important.
Makes a difference, right?
Yeah, and it's not, don't look, sometimes I would look support as charity, you know, but it's not only that, sometimes it's like solidarity, you know. Yes. So we're connected to each other, and people will receive energy from helping you, and you will too, because they're willing to do that, and you just give them the chance. So that's beautiful for the both. And if you want to be connected to us too, just like follow us on, I don't know, like on Instagram, or like go to our website, or like send us a message somewhere, because I was just thinking of myself listening to it many years ago, and I would think like, man, how can I leave it now? But like tomorrow I have to work. Like, what can I, like, you know, like find somebody or us to support you. Give a step. Act. Do something.
Beautiful.
That would be that.
Thank you, brother.
That's it.
Inner conversation is an opportunity, a door, sometimes the hell itself, and the gates out of it, the gates to paradise. Everything is in us. All the beauty and the ugly is inside of us, and you are the one that is creating. You are the narrator. You are the son of the divine, and everything is in you. I love you, and we cherish you, and we forgive you, and we celebrate you everywhere we are, as we are the creators ourselves.
Yes.
We love you guys.
Yes.
Next time, here next week, we will be talking about something, and we will pretend we will not be deep, but in the end, it will be very deep.
Yeah.
Yay! Lots of love.